Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic, and this is another episode of Road to Dune. So in this video, there's two things I'm going to talk about. First of all, there has been another photo come out from the new Dune movie, and this one is of Dr. Yue. I don't know the source of the photo, it just popped up on Twitter and people were retweeting it. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is I listened to two live streams last night concerning the new Dune movie. The first live stream was Midnight's Edge After Dark did a live stream, and they discussed this film. And also Bounding in the Comics did a live stream as well, discussing this film. So I listened to both of those. So I'm going to be talking about what was discussed in those live streams. But first, the photo. So this is the photo that got released of Dr. Yue. And you can see with the same thing with the set design, they're really going for that sharp geometric angles and stuff like that. I don't know what you would call it. I guess they call it the brutalist thing. But those sharp angles, everything has those sharp angles, from the Atreides armor to the set pieces and the glow globes. And this is Dr. Yue, and they really are going for the less is more approach with the uniforms. Now this one even looks more simple than the Atreides standard uniform that we've seen in earlier pictures. Now this one, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this design. It's almost like this uniform is too simplified. It almost looks like it needs some kind of detailing somewhere, like some kind of instrumentation or something on his uniform because he's a doctor. But I don't see it. And the other thing is there is no, he doesn't have the long hair like described in the book, and no school ring either. But he does have the tattoo on his head, and he does have the beard and mustache. He does have the diamond tattoo for indicate the Imperial conditioning. Yeah, it would be nice if this uniform had a little bit of detailing on it. So I don't know if he's going to have more than one costume in this movie, because this is different from what we've seen in the Atreides, their uniform. So he probably has another uniform, like more of an Atreides dress uniform, and maybe this is just purely his surgical smock or something, maybe. I'm not sure. And now this set piece, I don't know if this is going to be on Arrakis or this is on Caladan, the castle of Caladan. I'm not sure yet. So there seems to be every day a new photo being released. Like yesterday we got the Chani one, and now we got the Dr. Yue one. So let's see if some more photos get released as well. So there's that. So now I'm going to talk about the two live streams that I listened to last night. Now they were probably about an hour to about 45 minutes. They talk about Dune in the live stream, and it's at the very, very beginning of each live stream they talk about Dune. And now what I'm going to do is sometimes they put these live streams like on unlisted. So I'll see if I can still get the links. And if I can get the links, I'll provide the links to both those live streams in the description box of this video, so you can go and have a listen to yourself. They're actually pretty interesting. So now I'll talk about the Midnight's Edge, when they both kind of cover the same thing. So I'll talk mostly about what they said on Midnight's Edge, because they kind of repeat a little bit of what Midnight's Edge talked about in the Bounding in the Comics live stream. So first of all, they were discussing the Vanity Fair article, and how a lot of the talking points in that Vanity Fair article kind of had a lot of fans worried, because they were worried, like, is this going to be woke? Is this movie going to be woke? Because that seemed how the article came across, like with all the environmental issues and the call to the youth rising up and the critique on capitalism, the Greta Thunberg comparison, all that kind of stuff. And then like all the feminist rhetoric that was in that article. And so what's interesting is now Andre, the owner of Midnight's Edge, and one of their recurring guests, Script Doctor, have both read the leaked script for this movie. So that script that was circulating, that supposedly was leaked out to the media for this film. Now they said, I don't know if this is the real script or not, or this is a bogus script or whatever the case is, but they read the script and they said there is nothing about this movie, from what they can tell from reading the script, that is woke. They said it is no more woke than the 1984 film. So they said the marketing, that puff piece, does not match the script they read for the movie. So there's that. And the other thing is they addressed the Greta Thunberg thing in that live stream. And the thing about it that was interesting is when they tried to find it again in that Vanity Fair article, it seems to have disappeared. It's almost like it was taken out of that article. Now, I've noticed a lot of people were arguing back and forth on Twitter, and one thread I saw that was interesting was Danica 19, which used to be known as Comic Book Girl 19, she was calling people out, saying they were spreading fake news by repeating that line from that article that they compared Paul to Greta Thunberg, because she said she read the article and it was nowhere in there. Now, I read the article out line by line. I read the whole thing out on that video I did a couple days ago, and that definitely was in there. And because I laughed about it, and I gave it a massive eye roll. It was the most eye-rolling thing in the article, and because I thought the whole comparison was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm wondering if that got edited out. Now, I haven't gone out of my way to go look up the Vanity Fair article again to see or not, but it could have been taken out because maybe they decided, the PR firm decided maybe Greta is too divisive of a character or person, and to have her associated with the marketing of this film. So maybe they thought it was a better idea just to take that out completely. So they talked about that. And now the other thing they discussed is when they kind of went through the article, and they talked about how Denis Villeneuve is expanding the roles of females in this film, and how he's expanded the role of Jessica in the film. And so now how they said, the script they read, the impression, how they interpret that, how they did it, at least in this script anyway, that they read, how it's done, is you got to remember, Dune is a huge book. And even when you make it across 2 films like they're doing, you still can't fit everything in there. It's too much material. So how they expanded Jessica's role is they actually left more of the Jessica stuff from the book in this film and cut out other things. That's how they actually expanded his role. So everything concerning Jessica in this movie is in the book. So, and they said this script is very close to the book. It is very close. They said it is, they kept it very close to the book. Now, the other thing they said about Jessica is she's going to be the viewpoint for the audience in this movie. So she's going to be the one that basically the audience takes the ride with, I guess. So she's going to be one that's going to be doing like the exposition stuff and like relaying this whole world to the audience. So the audience will get the understanding of this world through her. That was the impression they got. So that's the ways that Jessica has been expanded in this new movie. I think that sounds good. Like it sounds like a really clever way to do it. Now, the other thing they did talk about, the Sharon Duncan Brewster thing, about the Liet Kynes gender swap. One thing they did bring up was that there is a real huge mandate in Hollywood to make sure that films have like a certain amount of male characters and a certain amount of female characters. So they kind of theorized that this gender change was made to meet that mandate. Because you got to remember, just to get these movies made and put through and push through studios and get investors on board, there has to be some compromises somewhere to even get these things named. So you got to play, like, I guess, play these kind of political games. But they said, now in the script, they said there is nothing in the script they read. There is no alterations to the character of Liet at all, except for the gender and the way Liet dies. But they said the character of Liet is written in the script, like personality and language and all that kind of stuff, very, very close, like very few alterations from Liet in the book. So it's basically exactly like Liet in the book, except for the gender change and the way Liet dies. So that's been altered. But they said there's no literary reason, like there's nothing for the gender change, like it doesn't add anything to the film and it doesn't subtract anything to the film. It's like so there was no other reason to change the gender, I guess, just for the sake of changing the gender. But it doesn't alter the character any other way besides that. So they talked about that as well. Now, they gave some theories on why this PR piece was, I guess, woke, or came off as woke, is they figured that they're probably trying to get ahead of the curve of the SJW film media. They're trying to probably, the whole Liet gender swap and this kind of like this woke puff piece is basically throwing the SJW media a bone to kind of give them something so they can at least get some positive PR out of them. Because let's be honest, this movie has already been attacked by a lot of SJW articles. And I've covered a lot of those articles on my channel, almost all those ones I could find. I've talked about them all on my channel. Now, the other thing is this movie has been getting hit by both sides. A lot of people are upset about the gender change from one side and worries that this movie is going to be woke. And then you got the other side, which is attacking it because it's problematic. Like the Baron is problematic. The fact that there's no Arab actors that have major roles in this movie. That's another problematic thing I've heard people complaining about. Now, there was a whole article written about that. And that article has resurfaced. People are retweeting that article now since these new images dropped on Twitter. And so that hornet's nest has been kicked up again. Now, I did a video on that article months ago, and I believe I called the video Erasing Arab Identity from Dune. And it's one of my most watched videos. So I went through the whole and gave my whole response and everything to that. Now, the other thing, so that's what they're hoping, that's what they were theorizing on Midnight's Edge anyway, that they were trying to get ahead of that curve, because as sure as rain is wet, when more images come out, especially the Baron, that's going to be one, I guarantee you, there are going to be a slew of articles written about how that character is very problematic and how offensive that character is, because that character came off as offensive back in 1984 when the first movie film came out. That character got criticized for being a very disgusting and homophobic character. So I can only imagine nowadays with social media and with outrage culture, it's going to be the same thing. Because now you're going to have like the whole fat phobia thing thrown in there. So this film is not out of the water yet. So now over on Bounding into Comics, they pretty much basically repeated the same thing they talked about on Midnight's Edge. But the same thing, the Bounding into Comics guy, he said that he was worried, the article made him worry because there's a lot of red flags that the movie is going to be woke. And he is actually a Dune fan, and he read the Dune book. So but he said he's also read that leaked script. But he said he read the script, and there's nothing in the script that the film's not woke at all from what he could read. Now, the only thing is that's kind of woke, I guess, is the Sharon Duncan Brewster or the Liet Kynes gender swap. But same thing. So I think what we're seeing is a film that's not woke but has a woke PR campaign. So maybe they're going to be testing the waters with this puff piece, and we'll see how the marketing goes forward with this film. So now, as for my thoughts on all this, I never for 1 second ever thought this film was going to be woke, even despite there would be a gender change with Liet Kynes. It's almost, that kind of stuff is usually kind of expected now. They kind of do that to make things more diverse. So I knew there was going to be, or I had suspicions that there would be at least one character that would happen to. And to be honest, if you're going to do it to one character, that's probably the easiest one to do it to is Sharon Duncan Brewster. To have her play Liet Kynes, that's the easiest one. But if it means like to get, if that's, but I'm totally cool with that if it means to even get this film made in the first place. I don't care. I just want a really good Dune film. No matter how much, what they do, you're never going to have the perfect Dune movie of what you envision in your mind. That'll never happen. Even with this, as good as this new one will be. Now, the biggest fear I have about this film is, now this supersedes every other film. This supersedes every other concern about this film. If this movie bombs, we don't get the second half. So that's my biggest worry right now, is this movie won't make enough money to warrant the sequel. And then we get half a Dune movie. And have to wait probably another 30 years for them to make another one. So that is something that is going to be I'm going to be very, very heartbroken if that is the case. I don't want to be making videos or seeing videos about detailing what went wrong with Dune 2020 and why we never got the sequel and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see articles like that. I don't want to make videos like that. I don't want to see videos like that. I want to see, now this movie doesn't have to like blast box office to pieces. It doesn't have to make Avatar or Titanic money, but at the very least, I want it to make enough money that it warrants making the second half, so we can get a complete Dune movie. Because if I can get just one really good Dune film, that's it. Anything else after that, if any of the other books are made into movies or a TV series or anything like that, then that's just gravy for me. But so that's my main concern. I don't want this to turn into another Blade Runner 2049. So far, though, it's got a lot more media presence and a lot more stir about it than what Blade Runner 2049 did. No one was really talking about Blade Runner 2049, but a lot of people are talking about this movie right now, even if it's negative. People are talking about the film, so the film is getting some buzz, so that's a good thing. So yeah, that's all I got to say, I guess. I guess just one more thing I want to say. This image here is, of all the images that's been released, this is probably my favorite one. This is like a gorgeous image of Paul and Jessica overlooking the desert of Arrakis. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.